Your time for revenge is at hand. Voila.
Unbelievable!
You want some more?
Coming to you from somewhere deep inside Transition Studios, brought to you by your hosts, Roger and Lito. Welcome to Sci-Fi Rewind!
You know, I like when Chris Hardwick, is that his name?
Yeah.
I like when he just starts. You ever listen to what's it called? IDT, ID double T or whatever.
I don't quite know the name of his podcast or whatever.
Yeah, it used to be something else, but he changed the name. Anyways, he just starts talking, and then the guest is always like, "Are we started?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we're started." Like, I just kind of like that kind of like it just kind of like blends in. Anyways.
So I guess we're doing that right now, huh?
No, not necessarily. No, not really. All right. Here we go. Hello, I'm Lito.
And I'm Roger.
And together we are
Sci-Fi Rewind.
All right. All right, so in our podcast, we look at all things sci-fi from a generational. I'm Generation X, Roger.
I'm Generation Z, Y. Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I'm so confused these days.
I'm borderline boomer Generation X, born in 65.
Okay, I'm 78 and Roger's 96. Okay, this is pretty cool. Nice little, different of years and different generations and different target markets for the filmmakers. Okay, cool. And then we also like to look at the films or whatever sci-fi from a filmmaker's point of view. We're all filmmakers here to determine what were the filmmakers thinking, what was their creative motivations, and would this get made today? And today, we are super excited to get Shawn Rech, the boss, the man, the myth, the legend, on our show. Thank you so much for doing this. This is a big ask, and we really appreciate you being on the show. Let's see, I know you from being hiring me off the street with no experience whatsoever, straight out of film school on someone's recommendations. They're our brothers probably. And you gave me a shot. I'm here. Hopefully I'm working out. And couldn't be excited. This dream come true. And I know you from being the director of all the films you've released so far, White Boy, Murder in the Park, American Gospel.
I'm the producer of those gospel movies. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then
Brandon Kimmer's the director.
Brandon Kimmer, right, correct. And you got a lot on upcoming, and just have you take it away, like Shawn Rech. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you having me. So, explain what I do.
Yeah, explain how what you do. How'd you get started in filmmaking, and what's your goal for the future?
Right. I consider myself an entrepreneur first and foremost. I've launched a few businesses. I've won some. I've lost some. Not always pretty. But you learn from those things. And I always wanted to make films since I was a little kid.
Cool.
And so after my the last business, which happened to have been a failure, I took a job editing a magazine for a few years, and I got the entrepreneurial bug again. And I said, if I'm going to win or lose or give my life to something, it's going to be something I'm really passionate about. So that thing was television and film. So I set out with my boss at the time, Ralph McGreevy, who's one of the partners here. I set out to make TV and movies, and we have never really failed. The very first thing we did was Crime Stoppers. We did it here in Cleveland. Everybody said we couldn't get it on TV. We got it on CBS. Then we branched out to Miami and got it on CBS, and branched out to Los Angeles and got it on CBS, and then went to Chicago and got it on Fox. And they were a tough way to make money. There's not a lot of money in regional television,
right.
But we earned some Emmys and we helped solve some murders. And
well, so your films, the Crime Stoppers episodes, actually led to some convictions.
It led to eight unsolved murders being solved through tips from our viewers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm sorry, 10.
10.
So 6 in Miami and 4 in Cleveland.
Success story.
Yeah.
Without you making these decisions, these people would still be on the street. These families wouldn't get resolution. This is awesome.
Yeah, it could be, but it's a tough way to make money. So we decided to move into films. I wanted to make a wrongful conviction doc, and our sponsor in Chicago told me about the story behind the murder in the park, and he partnered with me, and we made that film. It took a few years, and in the end of the film, we walked the guy out of prison.
Wow,
and that was a really good feeling.
That's great. That's a great story. Did you have like a spark, like a series or a movie that said, "This is what I want to do"? Was there some program, anything that led you on this path?
Yeah, I think my favorite show was when reality was getting really big. I was just totally enthralled by the First 48 on A&E.
Okay.
Which is a real-time murder investigation program.
Yeah.
And I'd watch these detectives in Memphis or Miami or Kansas City solve these cases in real time, and it's still a phenomenal show and a very successful show. And we're fortunate enough to be launching a kind of a follow-up show on our new streaming network that stars some of those same people who are retired,
How about that?
who want to feature some of those cases that didn't make it onto that show. So,
nice.
Homicide, The Cases That Haunt Us is a show that's going to be on our True Blue network starting Thanksgiving 2022.
Perfect. So outside of making films, you are actually launching streaming networks, and that's
here's the thing. When I started to make television, I was 42 years old, some fat guy in Cleveland, Ohio. No one was going to hire me. I had to create my own gig. So, and we've been really fortunate in everything we made is made on the air, and all the films we've made ended up on with worldwide distribution, and really fortunately everything one way or another has ended up on Netflix.
right.
So we're kind of like batting 1,000 on Netflix. Even the religious stuff got on there. It's to make something. You kind of feel very helpless when you're done, because there might be 20 or 30 buyers,
Right.
who decide your fate. So in starting our own streaming network, we know that we can always be our own buyer.
Right.
So if somebody says, it doesn't look like anybody else is interested, and they offer us a super low ball MG, which means money guarantee, we can say, well, we'll do better just throwing it on our network and then throwing it on iTunes for people to buy or rent, and so it gives us an alternative, and it doesn't make us a slave to the industry. So that's why we're starting streaming networks. But the first one we started is a big success. So these aren't just like shots in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
These are pretty well thought out, and True Blue is bringing back versions of programs that have been canceled, that were canceled while they were peaking. They were doing great and making networks money, but they canceled them for social reasons.
Right.
So
Well, now you're going to have an avenue for all that content to live and people
Exactly.
to be absorb it again all over again. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so here at Sci-Fi Rewind, we do things a little bit different. We do what is called like a pitch session, and we're going to be talking about a movie, and that movie is going to be that you picked is The Fifth Element, right?
Because you love this film.
Not because I love this film. I do not love this film. I loved things about this film, and it's still a memorable film for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is kind of fun because we're usually coming into your office and pitching you ideas, and you're, processing
picking them apart.
Right. So like we're gonna kind of switch roles here. Roger and I are gonna be executives. I have a blank film company, and you're gonna be the filmmaker, blank filmmaker, and you're gonna explain. Like we're completely blind to this idea. Like that's what we're kind of gonna try to pretend, but we really know a little bit. Like we were golfing with you, right, or something crazy, or we were eating lunch. And you got this great idea for a film, so why don't we hear about this great idea? So hey, Raj, I got this guy. He's got an idea. He's coming in. I met him at the golf course. His name's Shawn.
Hey guys, I have what I think is a great idea for a film. It checks every box. It's got a little bit of religion. It's got some history. It's sci-fi. It's throwback. It's look forward.
Right.
It's not a one man saves the world. It's a few people save the world, and it's action packed. It's going to be beautiful to look at, and I think it's going to do great. And we only need $173 million to make it.
Ouch.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, you had me at a lot of money it's going to make, but man, it's going to cost us. Jeez. Oh boy, you got that itemized? Oh boy.
Can I, if I can start the questions off?
Oh boy.
Is this based off of anything?
Yeah.
Or is this?
No, this is a clean sheet, and it's very rare to have a clean sheet.
Absolutely. So
this
no
isn't
built-in.
It's not based on a comic book or any legacy story.
Good boy.
I wrote this as a child, as a little comic book for myself that I never shared with anybody but my family.
Okay. So this is
All
a
right.
brand new story. No built-in audience whatsoever, so that we can definitely market to. Okay, that's
No,
gonna
but
be
part
tough.
of that 173 million is some pretty big and up-and-coming stars who have built-in followings.
All right, so we
come
got some
along with it.
attachments. People have agreed to be on the film already.
Yeah,
You've done some feelers out there.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is a popular television personality who's starting to work his way into film, and
Okay.
he's in. We've got people from different countries. Famous British stand-up comic, and then we've got Gary Oldman, who was
right.
just
Loved him in The
Yep.
Professional.
Yeah,
He's
and,
good.
well,
serious-
The Professional was my movie,
Okay.
so
Oh, that was a nice, serious movie.
Right.
Okay, so now we're talking about a nice, serious
All
sci-fi
right.
film, right?
right, yeah.
Okay, this is going to be straight, we're talking Star Wars-esque, like serious,
say,
serious note? Or
Star Trek. No, there's plenty of comedy, but
okay.
plenty of different characters. You think of the Star Wars bar scene.
Okay.
Okay, well, so this is kind of like Star Trek meets Planet of the Apes meets Spaceballs.
I love it.
All
I
right.
love
that.
that.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, I love the movies. How you did that? That's great. Okay, it paints a perfect picture for me. Okay, you said Star Trek
Planet
meets
of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes meets Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, because there's so much comedy built in, especially
Yes.
if these actors pull it off the way I think they will.
Okay, and then we got Hudson Hawk himself, Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
John McClane.
John McClane from Die Hard. He's a face. And then who's the girl?
Mila Jovovich. She will be really big in the future. Trust me.
But there's a bit of an age gap here. Is that going to be a little bit odd? I mean,
Yeah,
they're
it's a
not
little weird. They're 21 years apart, and
Yeah.
some of this stuff may come off a little. There's like an unwanted kiss and things that
Okay.
a little hard these days, but we're gonna try and make it work.
We can't find someone a little bit closer in age. Okay.
So you were throwing a little bit of Star Wars out there in comparison. Do you think this will be something that can rival Star Wars? Do you think this could become a franchise, or?
Ooh, yeah.
I think that we've got better effects technology now, and that 173 million. I think that for Star Wars to replicate itself today would cost more. They used so many models and so much stop action animation that now we have better effects. Although we're going to use a mix of several types of effects, we hope they blend well.
All right.
Well, if I could ask, can you give us a brief summary of the plot of the film? Any?
Sure. There is there's a species. There are two species that we know of. One is extremely evil, or it's just an evil force that comes to Earth every 300 years. And then there's a protective species of kind creatures that protects us. So they created a mechanism for our protection, and it exists of some ornate items, and in combination with almost a messianic figure. And the movie starts pre-World War II. The protectors come down and say, we know what's about to happen on this planet. We are not leaving these ornate items here. We are taking them to protect you from yourselves. We'll be back in 300 years when you need them. So it starts a little Raiders of the Lost Ark-ish.
All right.
Back pre-World War II, which
Cool.
is kind of like how when that was set, or that was around there. And then it rejoins literally in the 23rd century, I believe.
You know, I'll just stop you right there. My nephew, Luke Perry, he's off of 90210. He's looking for something to do. I think that'd be a good little spot for him, a little cameo.
We can throw him in that. We could throw him in that little beginning thing,
Yeah.
and then he won't hit us too badly.
No, he shouldn't. So he's just looking for a gig, get him back out there. Hopefully it'll restart
I'll
his
make
career.
him I'll make him like a journalist or something, following an archaeologist.
I like
first.
it.
All right.
That
That
checks
works.
my box. Yeah. So
That'll bring in a young demo.
I like it. I like where you're at. You're checking a lot of boxes for me. So then the story continues, and
Things go. They come back, but evil gets here first.
Ooh.
Things go awry, and then there's a third party, a big greedy corporate guy who's trying to get a hold of these.
you got a name for that guy?
Jean Baptiste. I don't know. You name him.
Something with
Zorg.
Zorg.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So.
Sounds alien almost. Is he an alien?
Well, our mock-ups with the makeup and the wigs and things make him practically look alien. Yes,
Perfect.
but he's a humanoid, and from the south,
Uh.
and so he's a third party who injects himself trying to get these ornate items as well. We never really make it clear if he even knows what they do. He just knows that they're valuable.
Perfect.
And
These elements.
these
We can spoil things. We're heavy spoilers.
they're ornate items that represent elements,
Elements.
Mhm.
Yes. So I'm thinking.
and
water.
the messianic character is actually the fifth element, which is what I want to call this.
Okay. This is some deep stuff, but seems like it's going to be wrapped up in a nice digestible package. What else could you want in a film these days?
It's not going to be boring.
That's good. You got action. You got some action in there. We got to talk about Bruce Willis.
We've got tons of action. We've got tons of we've got music. We've got every type of character you can imagine.
Cool.
We've got some really forward-thinking costumes.
All right. Oh, costumes.
Yeah,
You
like-
put this together, huh? You've been working on this since you were a little one.
Yeah, you should. I can show you the little comics. It's amazing. Hand drawn when I
Perfect.
was 6 years old.
Wow. So, I'm good. I can't wait to get started.
All right. This sounds like a fun, interesting project. We'll see how
Yeah.
it turns out.
So it's greenlit.
I think, yeah, I'm ready to. Yeah, how much you think you need to start off? Like a couple bucks?
oh
we-
well, for of the 173 million, a lot of it's the special effects later. So yeah, give me 50 to get started.
50?
Yep.
All right. I'll
Let's get
talk to
these-
have
All right.
my people talk to your people. If you need more people, I'll have my people get you some people.
Okay.
So we're looking like this is a go.
Good.
All right.
Are we back to present day?
End scene,
Yeah,
yes.
end scene.
You're going to regret that go.
For real?
Yeah, it only did 60 million in the U.S.
Only?
Yeah,
Dude, when I saw it,
No,
it was a
did-
packed theater.
it did 260 worldwide.
Uh-huh.
Now you remember the splits. So I've had movies in theaters.
Okay.
but we end up about 30% of the money.
Oh.
Okay, so it did 260 worldwide. Only 60 of that was in the U.S. and it cost $100 million 1997 or $93.
97.
Yeah, $100 million 1997 dollars, which is $173 million now. So that 260 would probably be about 400. So
So you're saying it's not good?
I think it didn't break even.
Well, I'm looking at it right here. The budget was $90 million. The box office was $263 million.
Worldwide.
Yeah, so on a worldwide, it did get its money back.
How?
Do they factor in like a VHS and all that back?
I
in
don't
those
know.
numbers?
260 times 0.3.
260 times. Well, doesn't
That's 86.
86.
It lost $4 million based on your numbers. You only get 30% of the box office.
Well,
Oh.
I'm just counting this because for it to be considered a success, it needs to double its budget, right?
No, almost triple.
Almost triple.
Listen to the
Okay.
man who's been there, Raj.
Okay, all right, I
No,
got you.
believe me, I get these reports.
Okay.
I see the splits. If it were on iTunes, they would keep 70% of their money.
Okay.
If we're on Amazon, they get 50% of their money. If we're on Vimeo, they get 90% of their money. But when it goes to theaters, they get 30 to 35% of their money, unless you are Marvel, who makes the theaters, give them 80%.
Oh,
Says
'cause
you're
they
lucky
know.
to make your little 20% and sell a lot of popcorn.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
These are good things. Yeah, thanks for all this insight.
Yeah,
We're getting
just
schooled.
so you know.
Yeah.
So you were going to regret that green light, and this thing is kind of a piece of crap.
The whole thing?
No, there's great parts of it
Yeah.
that are so memorable and good, and
Yeah.
they tried so hard. But here's the problem. As an American,
Okay.
when there's a foreign
Right.
director, it
Right.
just becomes a foreign movie. This thing has
I think.
Hong Kong effects, they call it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has, I just rewatched it. Did you rewatch it?
Yeah, I watched
yeah.
it last night. Yeah.
Did you notice all the actors going dap, 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 all the stammering and all the stuff that kids do in plays?
Okay.
That just doesn't play in the United States. Maybe it works in France. It's like, almost like they're all Jerry Lewis.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whether they're stammering and going and they're over mugging in every situation.
Chris Tucker a little bit.
Chris
yeah.
Tucker quite
Oh,
a
yeah.
bit. Even the priest when he's
Yes.
captured in the bed.
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah, I saw the eyes. Yes, I noticed a lot of eye acting.
Yes,
A lot.
mugging.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Well, it's what they did before they had sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they mugged in silent movies because you had, and then they would write a caption like he was shocked.
Oh, okay.
So-
yeah, when that elevator thing comes down the bridge and Mila's like, sits and her eyes get all big. Like
It's a very European thing.
I was noticing all the eye acting.
yeah,
Yeah.
very European.
Interesting. I never thought there was a term for that. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's good stuff. Wow.
So here's what happened when I watched it as a whatever.
So
a 25-year-old.
we've moved into our initial thoughts. I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah. So I watch it, whatever. In 1997, I was 22.
Okay.
So I go to the theater, and it's a little bit. It starts off in the Middle East. And it's this kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark type thing, which people were starting to do.
Sure.
Mummy was on the way, and some
Mummy
other stuff
time.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about the timing, but like it was a thing. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out when I was in middle school, but it was like a thing now that everybody knew you could make those adventures. Romancing the Stone.
Oh, I remember Romancing the Stone.
That
Yeah.
was a copy,
Oh.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. So you could, and then Canon Films had some real crappy
Canon
versions.
Films. We watched that.
So it was like kind of a well done. I recognized the actors. It was like, oh, this isn't too bad. And all of a sudden, it cuts to, New York City,
Yeah.
23
Way in the
something.
future. Yep.
Okay. Bruce Willis wakes up. He looks like he's hungover. He's wearing a dirty T-shirt. He didn't shave. He's got a headache.
Right.
And
A lot
Die
of
Hard.
setup.
Die Hard.
A lot of setup in that apartment. By the way, there's so much things that are set up that are going to be
yeah,
come into play later.
yeah,
It's
a
just-
lot of pre-exposition, right? Like he's about to lose his license.
Yeah.
He's in debt.
The match,
The guy who owns
The match was huge.
looking for love, things
Looking
like
for
that.
love. I know, like he's the ex-wife and everything. Yeah.
And so here's what I loved.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make way too much out of this, but this
fine.
is what I loved. So he goes and gets in his cab, and it is a beat up,
Oh yeah.
dirty,
Yeah.
nasty piece of garbage. And I'm thinking, this is the first time something in the future hasn't been a perfect, shiny, bright thing. this is what it would really look like. I mean, it's
Our future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that if you look at anything else that's futuristic, everything's just perfect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's not, if you watch Minority Report, there's not a smudge on the glass.
Or Demolition Man. Or
I mean, you'll see wastelands.
Yeah.
You'll see nuclear remains, bombed out cities, and you'll see apocalyptic scenes. But when you look at the technology and spaceships, and there was never anything. You didn't on the Enterprise. There weren't parts of the control panels that were worn out because you were using that section too much. Everything was perfect.
Right.
This thing was just you could tell it was about to fall out of the sky. It was just a piece of crap.
Right.
They kept saying they needed to bring it in for service.
A little Millennium Falcon-esque. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that
Our
wasn't that dirty, if I remember.
Yeah. No. But it was. They would always call it a piece of junk.
But
it's Star Wars. But that's not our reality. Right.
Right.
But yeah, like in terms of like things like sci-fi stuff, I like it when when you can look at a future and it looks like it's believable, and you can imagine if this stuff were to happen, humanity could evolve that way. I even just like the small little details where it's like Mila Jovovich, or Lilu, as their character is called, when she escapes and she's walking around, and she's crawling through vents and things, and she's crawling on the side of the buildings, and she's dirty. It's like that's a detail that I don't think a lot of films notice. It's like characters are going to get dirty if they're doing all this climbing.
Going through vents and all that. Yeah,
and it was like I appreciate the attention to detail and that this film has.
Right, but it seemed like it wasn't still consistent, her dirtiness. It seemed like every time she was back on the scene, on the shot, she was like extra specially dirty. Like she got dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, like just by from cut to cut. It was kind of interesting. So
yeah. So now, do you ever read continuity mistakes?
Yeah. I mean,
there are some where she's dirty, and then the next scene her hands are clean, and then she's dirty again.
Yeah.
See, I read a few of those. People caught that. I didn't watch it enough times to start catching that stuff.
People are dialed in nowadays. Like it's interesting how people watch movies now.
My first job was at Fairview Theater. I was an usher, and I used to sit and watch movies 500 times.
Oh wow!
And I watched.
It's like
48 hours. What was Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy?
48 hours.
48 hours.
And then another 48 hours. Yeah, there's two.
So Nick Nolte had this beat up old Cadillac or something.
Yeah.
And it gets blown up in a scene. And then they did some B-roll of just showing the busy streets, and it's coming down the hill. And I caught it when I was an usher. I was like, whoa, did the editor screw up there,
That's awesome. There's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
I love that.
Another little detail I like was the cigarettes in this movie.
I know. They're backwards.
They were backwards. Yeah, I was like, he's lighting his filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like you want to quit. For people who want to quit, we're going to give you really long butts of cigarettes with just a little bit to smoke.
Yeah, they didn't nail the vaping, did they?
No, they almost they were close.
I like the idea they had. It's just
Absolutely.
like, you want to quit, we'll just give you a little bit.
So, Raj, what are your initial thoughts and your nostalgia of this film? Like, when did you first watch it?
I can't tell you if I've watched it all the way through up until this viewing.
Okay.
I've watched it with family over time. I'll come in and I'll see it's playing and I'll watch it. It's not my favorite sci-fi movie in the world, but there was always these bits and pieces that I'd watch with my dad. My dad would laugh, and I would kind of enjoy it as well. As I was going through it, there's just things I really appreciate. I actually really liked Gary Oldman in the film.
Yeah.
But Chris Tucker, I think, might be going a little too overboard. But there's one scene where I really did kind of like Chris Tucker. It's when he's describing the aliens to the military, and he's giving like a very bad description, and the one guy just goes, Mangalores or whatever.
Yeah, he figures it out.
Yeah, it's just like based on.
Did Chris Tucker do Friday at this point, or is that after? I don't know.
I think he had.
He did Friday.
I think so.
Chris Tucker. I remember him from doing the movies with. I think he did one with Charlie Sheen.
He did Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
he did
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour,
movies.
right? But before, I think he did one with Charlie Sheen, and I'm like,
he's faded out a bit.
Yeah, but he was kind of like a it person at that time.
Didn't he return for like Silver Linings Playbook or something?
For real?
Well, he's on TV shows. I saw him. He's on.
This was his heyday, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is when he was peaking, and
Right.
and he does an awful lot of squeaking.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
You know, it's a little tough to watch.
No one, but I will say this: no one could have played this role.
I can't believe this role like ever existed.
Yeah,
Because I mean, he's just so unique, like
yeah.
so over the top, and so.
just the way he
perfect for him.
walks, the way
I
he
know.
moves.
It's flowing. I don't know.
It's not my it's not my favorite character ever, but it's almost mesmerizing just to like. He's almost like Jim Carrey in the way that he's like a live action cartoon.
For real, like there's something, animated about him. So did you have any more thoughts on that, on your initial thoughts, or?
I enjoy it. It's not my favorite, but I do like. I don't hate my time watching the film.
I can't wait to tell you this part.
Okay.
So my initial thoughts, well, first off, my nostalgia with this film. It's very near and dear to my heart because before this film, I broke up with the love of my that time, the love of my life, right? From like my girlfriend, my first girlfriend, and she was my everything. She was my world, and like we broke up, and this was the first movie I saw without her. And with like on a date, and then there's this like love story with like Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich.
How old were you at the time?
I don't know, maybe 18.
Was your date 6?
6? What do you
I
mean?
just didn't. I wanted to see if there was a parallel.
No.
Okay.
No. There was just something about the thing, like about the love story. And he was looking for perfection, and like he was looking for the perfect girl, and I'm like, I thought I lost the perfect girl for me because she was in music and I was in the music, and she was my perfect girl, like, But so I lost her. But then this movie comes out, and then like it's about a guy trying to find a girl, and like I was like totally, you know what I mean? I was like sucked into the love story. It just got me. I just got it, and I was like totally into the movie, and I don't know. It's kind of, it takes me back. So every time I watch it, it takes me back to that time of my life.
You
where,
wanted the guy to end up with a girl?
yeah, of course. Yeah. I was rooting for him the whole way, and I believed it all. And I believed that he loved her at the end. And I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm a big softie like that. So I was like, I loved it. I love this film. I still love this film. I love the diva scene, the diva,
Opera scene.
The opera scene. I love the opera music. I love the Chris Tucker running around like crazy, the action at the end. I love Zorg's motivation for helping out the evil guy, like to cause, he wants to kind of like put people to work by just setting fire to everything and just destroying everything to kind of like rebuild it. So he's kind of like, I don't know, putting people to work in a way. So, helping the economy by like
It's a metaphor for a defense contractor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So I kind of put it into that context of like if there's woods and they're really packed together, and then like lightning strikes and it burns like a whole bunch of the woods and it starts a forest fire.
Yeah.
Well, what happens? You'll get a little bit of life that'll start, and it will regrow everything. So sometimes when things get too packed in, a fire might not be a bad thing.
I think he was pretty nefarious, but
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to mention I think my favorite scene of the film, and that is the scene when the godlike aliens are coming, the Monshawans or whatever their name were, or however you're gonna pronounce their name.
Yeah.
It's like we're coming to bring the fifth element and everything, and it's like they've been built up as this like this ancient force that's here to protect humanity, and then they get blown up.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that crazy?
And Ian Holm is just like 300 years.
And he just sits back and he's like, what are we going to do now?
It's so
But then there's a ray of
His
hope.
line is all is lost.
All is lost.
Yeah. And then you just sit back but one cell. That's all they need?
Yeah.
It's like one cell to
No,
like
that's
rebuild.
that's one of the plot problems.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then
They're able to cure death.
right.
They can cure death.
So I loved all the action. I loved the ending. I felt like I was on a roller coaster when I was done, emotionally with the love thing and then with the action. I just like it wouldn't stop. It was like, in your face. The like the part in the opera house, all of that under the table, the explosions, the guns.
One
everything,
critic said
the costumes.
One critic said they did not waste 1 second nor 1 square inch of screen.
Okay, it was visually
Interesting. Everything was just like fun to look at.
Yes,
Just
guns, everything.
Just the like scenes where he's driving around, like or the first scene when Bruce Willis is driving out of his garage. I'm like, that looks really good.
I know. It was all great. I was like, colors, everything popped. I mean, it was like, this was made in '97. I can't believe it when I was watching it last night. I was like, wow. Like, okay, cool. So, yeah, we're going to move into our interpretation of the film, our meaning, what we think. Shawn, what do you think that they were trying to say with this? I mean, we've probably touched on a few things, but...
I don't know if he had an overarching theme other than, a very common theme of, man is inherently bad. Mankind, that's a biblical theme.
Okay.
Men are fallen.
Yeah, men are flawed.
And man meaning humans.
Sure.
And the protective aliens and the messianic figure could be likened to Christian God and Jesus, I think, in a certain way, or could be sublimated into other belief systems here on Earth too. And evil is evil. That also can be sublimated into many belief systems. And good will always prevail is a pretty common theme in every movie. But
you want to feel good at the end of the film. And
I love that let me tell you something. I love that this wasn't only one man can save us. This was the man, Lilu, the priest.
Yeah, it's a team.
The aliens, like a lot of people had to work together.
Ruby
to save
Raj, a radio host.
Yeah,
he had to figure one out, right?
Yeah,
an element.
He was there to go like, I don't know what to do.
Still, it was.
And he goes,
yeah, and he gets it.
Well, it wasn't Ruby Rod. It was the priest.
Was it the younger one or the older one?
It was the younger priest. He was like, we're doomed.
Oh, that was who it was?
Yeah, it was. Ruby Rod has nothing to do there.
He's just in the corner screaming around, squeaking some more.
Korban, my man. Korban, my man. I loved it. I could just go. It was fun. It's okay to have fun.
His performance was very polarizing. I found.
Sure. Okay.
Not. I found.
He was
for your generation.
I'll tell you what. He was very brave. If I don't know how everybody feels about this stuff, but like that was way ahead of its time as far as like gender neutrality.
Sure.
He was almost wearing women's clothing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
he was very feminine.
He argued quite a bit about that.
He fought for that?
Yeah, he fought against it.
Oh, against it?
Yeah, he said, I don't want my family to see me wearing this thing. And I was reading up on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Chris Tucker did.
Ruby even refers to himself as Miss or something.
Yeah, but I think he made them add the scene of him pleasing a woman.
With the woman that
I think he made them add that scene he said, to make my family feel better.
Yeah, because that doesn't work. That scene just seems odd.
Oh, yeah.
That it's in there.
Well, it doesn't fit with his personality. He seemed like he wanted to be the object of attention, affection, and like it didn't seem like he would have been
right
in that role. It was but Luc Besson, the director, who I pretended I was when I did the pitch.
I caught that.
He felt very strongly about that. Well, it was one of the first films where I've ever seen anything like that, other than, watching MASH or something.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah. What was his name?
Klinger.
Yeah, from Toledo.
Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, get the hot dogs.
Yeah, everybody told him, hey, just dress like a woman, they'll let you go home.
Oh, that's right. He was just trying to get home.
Trying to get a Section 8 or whatever they call it.
What was that place called? Tony Paco's. You ever ate there, Tony Paco's?
No.
No, it's right on the border before. Well, no, it's right at the bridge in Toledo.
Oh, okay.
Right to the right. Yeah, it's just hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
We always talk about Tony Paco's. But awesome.
So that was kind of ahead of its time. I'm not saying that's a great thing. I'm just saying it was ahead of its time. Probably some other things that were ahead of their time, but some stuff is dated. Not that much of it's dated. The diva's dancing is extremely dated. It's something you would see in a bad aerobics video.
Oh, you think?
Yeah,
that part was kind of cool.
That flapping of the arms. Yeah, no, that was. No.
Yeah,
and the way she was singing, I thought was amazing.
Oh yeah, singing was amazing, but her just kind of doing that, it just looked
Sounded auto-tuned to me, but I don't know if they had auto-tune back then.
I don't think so.
Singing sounded good to me.
97.
Yeah, but I agree with you. The dancing just looked like
Looked like someone who couldn't dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was like on stilts? I'm fairly certain she was on stilts.
Yeah,
but
there was some prosthetic that made her 7 feet tall. Sure.
and
Roger, do you got any interpretations?
I don't know if I have any. I think if I had any, it might fall more so to what Shawn was saying.
Okay.
I just kind of. This movie does feel a little all over the place, things like that. You know, maybe corporate greed or something, or with like Zorg's character or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it's love conquers all kind of thing. But yeah, I think I might just be a little short this time around.
All right. I think what I get out of it, I think there's some talk about overpopulation. We've kind of like, because we live above in the clouds because the lower level is already like over polluted.
Well,
Remember he talks about the fog. Okay, go ahead.
The president mentioned 300 billion citizens.
Wow, that's like a lot of people on Earth.
Yeah. Right now it's
You
like
gotta feed
7.
Yeah, 7.
So 300 billion.
Right.
That's
We got to
mentioned
feed
that
them.
number.
We got to feed everybody. We've got to clothe everybody. We've got to. They go to the bathroom a lot.
We need trucks full of McDonald's.
Exactly. We need to. We need to find stuff, and it's going to cause a lot of problems, like a lot of garbage. Like that's kind of weird that they had like made a point of having the garbage where they where the spaceport was. Like sorry about the garbage. Like what? Like I don't understand, but makes sense. Like a lot of people, a lot of garbage.
And no place to put the garbage, really.
No, I guess they don't burn it, which is fine. Which is probably a better thing for them. But overpopulation was probably something you were talking about. I also caught that, Shawn, about the man and the wife saving the world, the team saving the world, the teamwork. I think it's some wholesome like morals and stuff, family values and stuff there. I was thinking like maybe this is the origin story of the moon. Could be. This is how we got the moon in its spot. Maybe that was one of the previous attempts of these aliens, and Lilu helped before, because at the end you see 2 moons, and then they always bring up this idea of perfection.
Oh yeah.
And this is what I think we're talking about is I was always taught that there was only one perfect being, and I was God or Jesus in my upbringing. So I think that was kind of something that they were talking to or speaking to. Perfect is like every third word in this film, and I think they're just trying to like say stuff about their specific entity or whatnot that we should believe in and have faith in, and at the end of the day they'll save the day.
I was hoping when I saw that, as I was watching this movie, I noticed the use of the word perfect, and I was hoping that someone made a compilation of all the times it was said in the film. Doesn't exist yet, I guess. No one's taking note.
Yeah, it's like the Big Lebowski, where you can find that dude man compilation on YouTube. Yeah, they should do one for perfect. It's every third word. All right, and then so that brings us to how can we make, as filmmakers, we're looking at this critically now. I know we might be jumping around on your paper list, but how can we make it better? What do you think? What are your cringe moments? How would you fix them, Shawn?
I'm all for product placement. I think it needs to be a little more subtle.
Okay.
McDonald's clearly wrote a check toward production.
Oh God, yeah.
And they appeared in 2 or 3 scenes and had some billboards to boot, and tons of Big Mac boxes fell on them at one point, and
reminds me of the Total Recall scene.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like the Skittles thing or the Reese's Pieces thing in E.T. It was like pretty heavy-handed.
Right.
I'm all for but where are they at when we make movies?
Why
can't we put a bottle of Pepsi in front of an interviewee and get $50,000 toward our production costs?
You got to blur it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or else they're going to sue you, right?
Yeah. But the product placement, there
Good
was
point.
there was some horrible acting. Rest his soul, but Tommy Lister, who played the president, he was wooden, completely wooden.
Dude, can I speak real quick about that?
Yeah.
I saw him. I was like Zeus from that.
Friday.
No, well, yeah, he was in Friday, sure, but he was also a WWF wrestler, and he was in the movie with Hulk Hogan where he's Rip 'em Rip. What's that movie called? The Hulk Hogan movie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the guy from that movie. It was cool to see him as the president. I thought it was kind of like a bold choice.
Well, it was. It was again ahead of its time. We had,
Yeah.
You know, but he his dialogue was really bad. He didn't pull it off very well. Again, I know he passed away. Rest in
I did not
heaven.
know that.
If
Rest in him.
Yeah.
if I
but-
may
No
speak,
holds barred. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
if I may speak to him, I recognized him as the underappreciated MVP of the Dark Knight. That one guy who tossed the detonator in the Dark Knight out of the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he just he should have worked on it a little more. There were a lot of plot flaws. There were some implausible things in the plot.
Sure. The whole movie.
But my big thing is Gary Oldman.
Okay.
I can't stand when British actors do Southern accents, Southern American accents, because it's always an amalgam of like 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
You know, and he's such a great actor,
It's excellent. Yeah.
and he was angry. He was angry with the hairpiece. He was angry with the costumes.
Oh.
He fought back, and they made. So I researched that they made him do it. This Luc Besson did not budge
Okay.
on anything when these guys pushed back. So,
He's-
but his
As a
his-
director, like, do you want to maintain your vision, or do you want to help? Do you want the actors to dictate?
I will let the actors have some say, so they own it a little bit. But
Okay.
this guy felt strongly. He was sticking to what this child's what he wrote as a little child.
Okay.
So he's like, hey, we're not putting our adult stuff into this. This is just let's see if my childhood thing works. But I just couldn't stand that character. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't that funny to me.
Okay.
What he did, it was very, I don't know. It was like,
What about when, like, he goes, we need to fire 500,000, and he's like, fire 1 million. What did it make you like feel for him?
I thought it was just a cheap throwaway line.
You thought it was a cheap one?
Well, I just thought some writer just, okay, they wrote a few keystrokes and they made him look like a really bad guy.
Did you
Yeah,
know
but
what?
that's-
Did you
that's-
But it's lazy
It
to
ki-
me.
you thought that's okay?
Yeah.
To me, it got me like, oh, I don't like this guy.
did you
Well,
did you
you're
know?
supposed to? They did everything. It's totally contrived that you
Yeah.
hate the guy, but I mean, everything about him was hateable.
Did you guys know what kind of employees he fired?
The taxi drivers.
Yeah, it was just like I
Yeah,
was like
they tied it together a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, but I thought that the Chris Tucker thing, all he did was squeak. I mean, they should have just written him some better lines and made him more funny. Some of the a lot of critics say there were scenes stapled in that didn't seem to fit.
Staples.
Yeah, so stapled in.
Yeah.
And him having his private liaison with the stewardess before they took off.
Okay.
That seemed awfully stapled in.
Okay.
And it makes sense that was to appease him for wearing the woman's clothing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. And I also think, I think the way that the warlike soldier for hire creatures were
The mercs.
depicted had some European racism undertones.
Oh.
Especially when they'd fake themselves as humans, they would be black men.
Ah.
So I thought there were racial
Okay.
undertones of you dumb, whatever, you know,
Okay.
dumb apes. That's just what it seemed like to me. And Europeans are way behind on racism. They still do terrible gestures at soccer games, you know.
Oh, I
So,
got you. Yep.
You know, it just seemed like this guy was really racially insensitive Yeah, it struck me.
So that would would definitely be updated if they do
I think
a reboot.
that wouldn't
Yeah.
that wouldn't fly today.
Right.
Bruce Willis kissing a sleeping girl who did not give her consent, and
Right.
then
Oh,
getting
boy.
her in the end.
Well, she
That
does.
wouldn't fly today.
She has the gun.
Well,
I mean,
she empowered herself and
right.
put a gun to his head, but that wouldn't fly today.
okay.
But
That's good insight.
yeah, I mean, I give it like a. So it was the first movie I mentioned because I just thought it was so cool that everything looked aged and beat up. But I'd probably give it a C+ or a B- overall.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks. Yeah, we haven't really done letter grades or anything, but no, okay, that ties in. I mean, that ties up your thoughts pretty
Yeah,
nicely,
I just,
actually.
But I just had so much to say about it. And
Yeah.
the weird thing with me is the more I love something, the more I pick out its flaws. I love The Wire, but certain things just drove me nuts about that series,
Okay.
And I'd get on message boards and talk about it, and they're like, "Why are you even here if you're doing all this complaining?" It's like, because I
They
love
love it. Yeah.
They've almost got it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it could be so much better
Yeah,
if
they just didn't have this fake whatever.
They tweak it here and there, and it's like a perfect thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
I love Star
Roger?
Wars, but I haven't really cared for the Book of Boba Fett. I want it to be better. And I just feel like it's at a meh kind of point. But
All right, Raj. How would you make this film better?
well, there's certain things I noticed. The moment where she jumps off the building and into the car, it's like
Yep.
she's able to survive that. Part of me feels like bullets shouldn't be able to harm her all that much. It just feels like, I don't know. If you're able to survive face first into that, it makes me think she's probably got some like tough skin or something.
The DNA is explained that she's got like 200 something, strands of
Oh, yeah.
DNA. So I mean,
I think what Roger's saying is, why was she dying in that
Yeah.
that vent at the end?
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause-
when she
well,
gets
'cause she got
shot.
drained.
Yeah.
'Cause I think she was just like drained at that point. That's the way I always pictured it, because she's out there fighting those guys and she's taking a lot. And then, I don't know. I think that's a great point. I never really figured out why she was getting drained, but there's got to be some kind of tie-in to, is everything worth saving, and
Yeah.
she's kind of losing her.
Oh yeah.
By the way, if we have that machine,
To make people.
shouldn't people who got smoked in this thing appear later
Yeah.
because someone put them back in that machine?
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know why they were in the machine at the end at all. Like, why were they in the machine
just
again?
just to strengthen them a little, but that was dumb.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
That was weird.
They should have been in separate containers. You probably don't want to put two people in the same container.
Yeah, that are supposedly in love.
Oh, I'm going to tell you something else that was wrong. That it was totally unnecessary. Was Bruce Willis's mother calling and complaining?
You didn't like
And
it?
and it sounded like she was reading off of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was really wooden, also.
There's also a little thing that gets to me when they're, fueling up the ship as it's about to leave and go to the other planet with the cruise.
Okay.
I was thinking,
Floston? Or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
but they're putting that in that radioactive waste container into the ship, and I go like, I don't know if it's safe to have radioactive containers just be like behind glass. I feel like that's
And maybe the guys doing it shouldn't have been smoking weed.
yeah.
That was
They were Jamaicans with blunts.
There's
they
a-
were-
Passing the blunt around.
and the guys were all like, "Oh, they're all smoked out and everything," and they're just like doing their job, and those little critters that they
That was kind of a nice. That was a kind of a cool element.
Oh yeah, that
Rats on a cruise ship.
right. That was kind of cool.
there's a phone booth explosion.
Yeah.
If you look closely, the guy who's on the phone, his body is still there, still like standing up, and I'm going like, shouldn't his body be like?
Well, it's a dummy, I think.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
some point.
But
yeah.
I feel like even if like
Okay.
normally your body should be like flown away, but he's just like standing up, and I go like,
they probably did too good of a job putting him on that thing.
I would throw
The
in
dummy.
I would throw in maybe a couple more action scenes, because
More?
I don't know, maybe just one or two.
You know what's funny? That this is the first time I mentioned or I thought about this. Like, it took an hour to get to him getting the mission. Like, I stopped it. I'm like, I thought that happened a lot earlier.
Yeah.
In the movie, but like, wow, it took like a whole hour for him to like get the notice that he's going on the mission. Bruce Willis character. I'm sorry. So I'm like, and to me, watching it like before, I'm like, I thought that happened in like the first 20 minutes.
By the way, ways to improve the film.
Yeah.
His whole fighter pilot backstory was him just saying it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't he have woken
Yeah.
up from a firefight nightmare?
Or maybe.
They didn't want
Oh.
to spend the money on that, but
And
wouldn't you want to see what an expert he was?
Yeah,
behind that, with the
show
cockpit?
not tell. I think is what you're talking
And that
about.
kind of
yeah.
and that kind of comes into play at the end where it's like, okay, we're taking control of the space.
You might want to hold on to something.
Yeah.
The first time you watched it, did you think he was some sort of like special agent guy or anything?
Not till he said, this isn't a fighter jet anymore or whatever. you know?
What about like when he got mugged and he handled that guy pretty well? Did you think like, oh, like these guys got some skills?
And they showed a rack of weapons that he
Yeah, the rack of
confiscated.
weapons. Yeah,
I
It-
didn't understand why they humorized the mugging.
The mugging?
Yeah, that's
I
just
don't
it's almost
know.
like a European guy mocking America. I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Well, he
uh,
seemed a little bit Latin, the guy. So I don't know.
I saw him as like East Asian.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I thought I saw him. Yeah, more like a Southern American type, South American guy. Sorry.
Why didn't the bomb detector and the crews detect the bomb sooner?
That would have messed up the plot.
And then what about the
Everybody would've left.
the bomb that they brought on board that
Oh,
really
yeah.
blew up?
Why
It
did it need like why did that bomb need to have like a
Why
timer
would-
that says 5 seconds?
Why did it turn? Why did it turn his timer back on?
No, it didn't
didn't.
turn his. It's just that new bomb has a timer for 5 seconds.
I think that was a joke. I think that was a joke.
Yeah.
That like attempt at a joke because like he stopped it at 5 seconds and then this bomb pops up and it's 5 seconds.
Did you
And he's
notice
like,
that the
"Aw."
bombs looked steampunk?
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
Everything like kind of
Yeah.
brass and
Yeah.
like had this kind of like
Steampunk.
steampunk.
That
look
was like 'cause that wasn't around back then. I don't think steampunk
But,
and stuff. I don't
yeah.
remember seeing
to
stuff.
not really.
Like that.
But, well, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, it kind of was. Just certain ornamental.
Raiders.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think there were steampunk elements.
Okay.
I think my two big changes though. The first one is I think I would have preferred it to be more like an adventure to go collect all the stones. Maybe like there's one stone over on this planet or there's one stone over in this
Oh,
city or something.
Yeah, but then I get repetitive.
Yeah, well, it was lazy writing to just have Gary Oldman keep opening empty boxes.
Oh, that's true. I noticed that
That's
too.
lazy.
Oh,
It's
is
lazy.
it?
I think it would be like, okay, let's go explore these different environments. Let's see how humanity has expanded over. Maybe it's on a planet, or maybe it's
Yeah, maybe see
Yeah.
4 different. Well,
Yeah.
Lucas would have done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would have taken
Yeah.
you to 4 different worlds.
yeah,
Yeah, in like 10 seconds.
Interesting environments, things like that. Maybe
Sure.
maybe it could even just be the last one's in the body or something. It's like maybe it's the symbol of water or something.
Speaking of that, how did those stones get in her body? Like,
Oh,
did they
God.
sew her in?
That was just so.
I don't know
That
how
was just so weird.
how did that happen?
How do you even live?
I don't know with something in there like
With
that.
four
Not even
bricks
just
in you.
yes, but I
She's
think
an
the
alien.
I think the other problem I would like to fix is the war thing where Lilu kind of like questions it a little bit. I feel like
If she's the all-being, wouldn't
Yeah.
she already kind of know about that?
yeah, and I feel like it's there to kind of make it go. I feel like it's kind of thrown in almost at the last minute to make her go. Is it really worth saving
Oh, okay,
humanity?
yeah.
And
That was a big thing in the 90s, though.
Yeah.
That was, the Vietnam stuff all just came out.
I would have
Oh.
thrown this kind of stuff in earlier in the film, like maybe she would notice war and see how it's changed or something earlier in the film, and maybe she's like, I'm still with it. It's just that's
that made her. That actually is the thing that exhausted her even more before he told her he loved her. Was her looking at that war footage.
Okay.
I also think that was lazy. Her looking at
the internet?
flashes of photos
Oh, yeah.
and as if it informed her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Was
Like-
the internet around back then to like
I don't
kind
know.
of like
I don't know. That looked that was a pretty good prediction of what a browser would be.
right? Like what was around back
97,
then? Maybe
yes, yeah. AOL was around.
AOL and Prodigy and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
were
it
around.
was around.
There's this gag in a show called Smiling Friends where these guys are trying to make people upset, and it's like, here, look upon the atrocities of humanity, and they're showing glimpses of like war and stuff. It's exactly like The Fifth Element. It's like one of the hopeful people is going like, "Don't look, Charlie," and Charlie's looking up, and it's like,
Is this really supposed to be? I mean, I've seen way worse stuff than this on the internet. I don't.
"This doesn't get a reaction out of me."
Okay, so you pretty much all set there, Raj, for your cringe moments and fixing it all. Or?
I think that's what I would like to try and change.
I have this really okay. So when I watch it, the way there's this spot where they're playing with the gun, and they're fake shooting each other. The monsters, what are those guys called with the ears, and the guy that's
Mangalores,
The
I believe.
Mangalores are playing with Zorg's gun, and they're playing with all the different things, and they're like, and then Zorg was like, you know what like a killer, a cold-blooded killer. First thing they would have thought of is what's the red button do, right? And then they cut back to the guy, and he presses the red button, but he was in the tunnel.
He
and
blew up Zorg's place.
Yeah. Well, he blows it up, but then all of a sudden they were in the tunnel, and then all of a sudden they're outside, and it's like it doesn't. Continuity just doesn't.
It's a very short tunnel.
Yeah, like they're outside and he's standing and he's looking straight. Like they weren't walking. Like he's just standing straight, and then it blows up behind him. I just have a problem with
Lazy.
that cut. That cut
Lazy.
just takes me out of the film every single time.
They wouldn't go back and do the pickup to connect those.
Exactly. I needed that a pickup. Like I needed them still in the tunnel, maybe blowing up that room that they were in, not him outside. It bothers me. The little elephant that pops up, the little pink elephant thing that pops up. I don't
That scene
understand.
was completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
It's
It's like, why would he let him walk out of there? Well, let's have him choke.
yeah. That's my next thing. Is like the whole cherry swallowing thing. I don't get.
Why?
I don't get it.
Stapled in.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't make sense. Like it makes him look weaker too. Like that he because you saved my life, you can go free. It's like what? Like
It may not work all that well, but I want to throw a positive in. The creature effects in this movie are great. Like the Mangalores when they're talking, I'm like,
it's just great,
that's
yeah.
great.
Uh-huh.
The little elephant looking thing, while it doesn't look 100% natural, I still go like, man, I still kind of believe it though.
Just so you know, Luke Bassan now says he cannot watch this movie
why not?
because of the special effects. And
Oh,
Really?
He said
George Lucas style.
He said if we would have made this 10 years later, boy, would it look great. He said we used, and they like when she falls out toward the cab, when they show it frame by frame, it's awful.
For real?
Yeah, I just watched the video
I
where they
never-
analyzed it. Yeah,
Oh,
it kind
no.
of worked in real time.
Yeah.
And there were
That's
a few
like an
others,
iconic scene.
but they say they're like 3 different styles all mixed together.
Oh.
Animatronics and
Oh.
stop motion and CGI, and he's just bummed when he looks at it because he feels like they didn't give him enough money for effects or that the technology wasn't there.
Wow.
So
They
he-
gave him
he
a
doesn't-
lot of money though.
He doesn't like watching this.
Let's
movie.
hope he doesn't make a remake. Because
They were talking about one.
for real?
Mhm.
Like re-upping all the graphic or remastering
They were
or
naming
redoing
it
this
after the Dark Planet.
one? Okay.
That was the name of the sequel. I forgot the name of that Dark Planet. The one they supposedly killed at the end, but probably didn't in the sequel.
Okay.
And that's but that he would not do it.
That's
He
one
said,
thing.
no, I never dreamt of that as a child.
That's one thing I love about The Fifth Element, that they didn't make a sequel. Like this is it. Like this, I love how they didn't try to capitalize on anything, or obviously they didn't make their money, so they didn't move forward. But
These are his childhood dreams.
I love
He was not going to contrive it.
I love stuff like that, like this, like the Monster Squad. They never made a part 2. You know what I mean? Like Goonies. They didn't make a part 2. Like I love not franchising. Something.
Just a one and done, and those are
one and
refreshing.
done. Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah, Hollywood.
yeah. Hollywood
Unfortunately, doesn't.
wants to. Yeah, when they want to.
Well,
Yeah,
they just
every.
need the sure thing. They
Yeah,
just need the
absolutely.
sure thing.
Yeah, good point. So yeah, go ahead, Raj.
I do have one more thing I'd like to try and fix.
Sure.
Chris Tucker doesn't need to be in it as much. Like,
Oh, okay.
you could probably cut out him at the end, and it doesn't change anything.
Right.
But if he were to just leave with other people as the ship blows up, I think I wouldn't complain all that much.
French loved Jerry Lewis. That he was doing Jerry Lewis.
Oh.
And I also heard he was like doing almost an impression of Prince and Michael Jackson as
Oh, I
well.
can see Prince. I love
Yeah.
it. And Michael Jackson. Sure.
Like all those things. He also kind of, for some reason, he kind of reminded me of Logan and Jake Paul, just getting in people's faces or things like that, and just like doing all this weird stuff.
Okay.
I mean, he's
those
not.
are guys of today, right?
Yeah, those are
Okay,
guys
I don't
today.
know
I
those
mean,
guys.
I mean, he's not. He's not making.
They're from Westlake.
He's not making
Is
fun
that
of
the guy?
suicide.
The guy who boxes now. Yeah, they're from Westlake, the social media guys.
Yeah.
For
Their
real?
father was a realtor here.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Well, good for them.
huge followings, things like
Oh,
that.
they've
They're
done great.
yeah, they're doing
I'm not in.
things.
I'm
I
not
But
in
can't
with the
sit
times.
through it. My son used to watch those videos. It's like, Jesus, this is
They're-
seriously that you know.
This is it.
They're-
This is
they're-
Look,
something?
he drove a car into a pool.
Oh, is it like a
jackass.
like a
thing.
jackass
At the
thing?
beginning, it was.
Oh.
but then there were some problems. Logan Paul went to the Japanese suicide forest, and he recorded a dead person hanging, and he was like,
What?
yeah, it was he didn't quite know how to react, and it was
What?
yeah,
Oh, boy.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
no, it didn't sound fun, and he had to go on a whole like reevaluation of his life thing.
Well, that kind of takes us segues us into like stories behind the story. How, do you guys have any like behind the scenes type stuff, Shawn?
I think I already dumped it on you when I said that the director can't watch it, and that, he's very unhappy with the special effects, and that Gary Oldman was very and Chris Tucker, they were both very upset with their wardrobe.
Gotcha.
If I could add on to a little bit of the Gary Oldman stuff, I was watching an interview, and he's talking about Gary Oldman's talking about his career and his most memorable roles. And someone brought up The Fifth Element, and he was like, "Yeah, I did. When before The Fifth Element, Luc Besson had helped me produce a film that I was directing, and so I didn't read the script for The Fifth Element. I basically did it as a favor." And
Okay.
and he was like going. The interviewer was saying, "Oh yeah, I was. He had a good time or everything." And it was like, "Well, it was a bizarre time." So. Doesn't seem like he has much love for The Fifth Element.
Well, I don't know how he can in retrospect. Milo Jojovic says it's the best movie she's ever made.
Oh yeah,
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was she in Dazed and Confused? That's the first time we saw her, and like,
And then
she did Resident Evil. Like she got. I
But
think
she said this was her favorite.
yeah. Oh yeah.
This is one of my favorites. This one and Resident Evil for sure.
She was the focal point, obviously.
Oh right, yeah. She was definitely the male demographic was like, yep, check that box. But Raj, you got any other stories?
There was you said that it wasn't based off of anything, but there were some inspirations from like I don't know French comic books or something. He saw like specific images, and there was like an image of a taxi, and I guess Luc Besson got those guys to help like visualize the world a bit, help him make his vision more so a reality or something.
No, I did see that was a French theme, airborne taxis, but I didn't. The interview I read, he said that these were his childhood dreams, possibly informed by those comic books.
Yeah.
Flying cars too. Like we haven't gotten flying cars. We're 2022, and like where's our flying cars?
It's going to happen.
You think?
Yeah. They're VTOL. There's a ton of companies making them.
Flying cars?
Yeah, they're in development, right? Boeing and Airbus included.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's coming.
They're drones.
Oh, yeah, drones. Sure. The only thing I found interesting was that the director and Mila Jovovich hooked up at while they made this film, and then the director like divorced his wife, which was the person playing the diva. So
really,
yeah, that's what it said on Wikipedia. So he was married to the person playing the diva, like obviously hooked up with Mila. And they got married for a little while, but then they got a divorce eventually.
Yeah, it was like lasted 2 years.
Yeah, so I guess the grass wasn't greener on the other side.
And I remember one more thing. Apparently,
well, he's been Me Too'd now.
Oh,
I didn't want to bring it up. But
oh boy,
he's been Me Too'd.
Yeah, it kind of comes across in this film the way everyone kind of lusts after Lilu, and I'm like little creepy, but.
Definitely Bruce Willis is like smitten immediately.
He's been Me Too'd, but he is not. No one has successfully prosecuted him.
Okay.
So these are allegations, and he may be completely innocent.
I mean,
so you just
reputation.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
We can't say for sure.
No,
but
these are allegations.
There was one more thing I wanted to mention. Apparently, Bassan actually created Lilu's language.
Yeah.
With her.
Yeah, with her. And it
That's
was like
cool. I always liked the language.
400 words or something. They created 400 words. And I had noticed that
they did their research. I mean, all the costumes and the language. They did a lot of prep work.
And as I was listening to her talk in her language, I was like, she kind of sounds Russian or German or something. And so I looked it up, and apparently Jovovich was born in the Ukraine during the Soviet era, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's why it sound she has that kind of accent.
Gotcha. And then, all right. Anybody got any last thoughts before we get into recommendations? Shawn, anything we've missed or anything that you
Nope.
You think we need to touch on? No, Raj.
I think I've said all I need to say.
All right, so like let's answer the questions. Would this get made today?
Nope.
No.
Not get made. They wouldn't take even if the script were good and the cast were better, and the misogynistic elements were taken out of it, Hollywood wouldn't take the gamble.
Wow. I know, because I mean, like with no prior like
No track record.
Yeah,
They wouldn't even remake this.
For real?
Not
This is
based
not
on, not based on the performance.
It's not a cult classic in any way. You don't think?
I think it's kind of a classic, but I don't know if now with how shaky theatrical is.
Right.
You know,
Not even like somebody takes it. Like Amazon's pretty brave.
the only good thing is that you could probably make this for a lot less money now, including
Oh.
Bruce Willis.
You just get
Oh,
Bruce Willis
boy.
back on. He'll probably he probably needs
No.
some cash.
No, who's the new Bruce Willis? The younger version of Bruce Willis now.
Vin
Joseph-
Diesel.
Vin
Joseph
Diesel.
Gordon-Levitt.
Oh boy, I don't know about that.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No,
What?
Looper.
You're joking?
Looper. He was the younger version of.
that's not bad. That kind of works. But I was thinking, Driver was the guy that did Driver.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. What about him? Do you think he's kind of like
He
a
could-
Bruce Willis-y type of guy? He's just like I don't know.
Probably a little better actor.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
I just like like Blade Runner. I thought he did good. So I don't know. We'll talk about that in the future one day. I don't know. But all right, and then so remake, no remake either.
No.
I think you mentioned that. No. All right, cool. So what movies when you watch this, we should watch if we like The Fifth Element? What do you recommend, Sean?
Oh boy, I wasn't ready for that one.
Oh no,
Come back to me in a minute.
no problem. Raj?
for some reason, I kind of thought of the Carl Urban movie, Just Dread.
Joe Dredd, right?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
good one.
I was thinking about it's
With
like
Lena
everything
Headey.
looks dirty in
Yeah.
the future and everything.
I am the law.
Yeah,
Right.
I am the law. I guess.
I love that film.
I guess also based on the works of the people involved. I guess the Resident Evil movies.
Yes.
And I guess I still have to see Leon the Professional because I've heard people recommend that, and
Absolutely.
I have to see that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost hard to think of other films that feel like this.
Okay.
But like I guess you could also throw Indiana Jones out there, adventure movies, things like that. But yeah, this movie does kind of feel almost like one of a kind in just almost everything. And yeah, it's experience I'd say is worth checking out.
Excellent. The movies I bring up first, I mean, because we got an asteroid coming at us. That's not, let's call it an asteroid. I'm thinking Bruce Willis, asteroid, Armageddon. You got to have Armageddon in there, right? And you one thing I do like about The Fifth Element, they don't use nukes to save the day. They use love. I love that. Anyways, I want to see Lucy. I haven't seen it, but I want to see, which I think is one of his the next films. The director, what's his name?
Luc Besson.
Luc Besson, sorry. And then when I see him take that taxi out, when I see, Bruce Willis, Korban, take the taxi out and been going through films so cool, I see Metropolis, the Fritz Lang, 1921 silent film. I just think that's what everyone kind of like whenever they want to do some sort of like science fiction type city of tomorrow. It's almost the same shot, the tall buildings and traffic is just always all over the place. So that's what I see. I see Metropolis, and then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, just because it's almost the same style of like comedy and comedy sci-fi type of thing, Spaceballs. So we're gonna finish up with what are you watching today that you recommend people out there kind of check out, Sean? Or I'm sorry, we didn't get your recommendation.
I'll tell you what I watched recently. I enjoyed. Some people hate it, some people love it, and it does send this up and this whole genre up a little bit. But it's a political movie. Is Netflix's Don't Look Up.
Oh yes,
I think that does send this up because there's kind of a Bruce Willis-y type character.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Good pick. Yes.
So I liked Don't Look Up. Some people hate it.
I liked it. I did not love it. I have problems with it, but I don't know. We can probably do an episode on that soon.
I think it'll disappear quickly from
Probably.
the ether.
Okay.
It's kind of like Bird Box. It's really hot.
Bird
they
Box.
just disappear when they're on
And then the
Netflix.
Bird Box challenge. Oh my god.
Maybe I'll check it out one day. But I saw some like clips of the editing in the movie, and it's just like during certain points it will just like freeze frame for no reason, and I'm like, what's up with that? And but I don't know. I have no real any feelings toward the film, so I don't have any hate or excitement to watch it.
Did you have a recommendation, Sean, for like if you like The Fifth Element? Did you have any other films that you should check out?
No, you want to know what came to mind? Tim Allen pretending to be Captain Kirk. That's what came to mind to me. But
Galaxy Quest?
That's like my favorite movie.
Are you talking Galaxy Quest?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite movies.
I love that.
But it has nothing to do with The Fifth Element. It's a total rip on Star Trek, clearly. But I love that film. And again,
Yes.
the guy, like,
I love that
would
film.
someone really know how to pull that thing out of the hangar, or would they just scratch
by
the whole
what?
side pulling out?
I have to see Galaxy Quest. That's
There you
that's
go.
on my list.
No, that's not on our list. You know what?
Oh,
when it's
you
time
have
for me to
Oh,
do
yeah.
my next
It is
movie,
so good.
we're gonna do Galaxy Quest.
Okay.
And it's my movie coming up in a few weeks.
It's
We're
so
doing Galaxy
good.
Quest.
There's a huge,
Yep.
huge list of movies that I want to see, but I just don't have the time, or I guess
That's
Watch Galaxy Quest and watch the Black Mirror episode about Star Trek.
Oh,
Yes.
I
oh my God, this guy
I know
knows
of
the
that.
sci-fi.
I know of that.
Yes.
I
I
kind of know
told
the
you
basic plot, but I need to watch it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
watch that. That guy is the best Kirk I've ever seen.
Listen to the law.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, for real, he knows what he's talking about. Sean's, you're on the money, man.
Yeah.
And then what are you watching other than Don't Look Up? Is there anything else that you're watching?
I am binging Black Mirror. I'm
Oh, for real?
catching up on it. Yeah, I'm really late to the game, and it's just a.
Did you see
it's
the
a-
White Christmas episode, or is it Christmas episode with Michael Hamm? Is that how you say his name?
John Hamm.
John Hamm. Sorry.
I did not.
Okay.
I watched San Jacinto, which is kind of. I don't even want to spoil
Sure.
it with what it's about, because you don't know for quite a while. They really hold off on the.
Black Mirror is amazing.
On the bomb. Black Mirror is British Twilight Zone. Everything is cinematic. They must cost $10 million an episode to make.
Wow.
The money that goes. As a director producer, I watch and I'm like, oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
costumes, the technology.
Right.
But there's another episode of Black Mirror called Nosedive.
Okay.
That might be my favorite episode. It's about social media
Okay.
and approval.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is that the one with
Bryce Dallas Howard?
Bryce Dallas Howard, redhead.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. San Junipero. Have you seen San Junipero yet?
That's the one.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
That's the other one.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes.
Those are the last three I watched.
Yes.
The Star Trek one,
Yes. Yes.
Nosedive, and San Junipero.
Yes. John Junipero. Oh my God. Wow.
The only episode of Black Mirror I've ever seen in full was the first ever episode, and boy,
The
is it
robots coming out of the
no
boxes in
the one with
warehouse?
the one with the pig.
Oh yeah. Okay. Say no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The pig.
And I was like,
yeah.
okay, I know what the show is about, and so
And the
every
artist, yeah.
every other episode I've watched, I know about. I've kind of learned through information based off of like the internet.
Okay.
And here's a total wormhole. I watched the movie Pig with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I've
It
never seen
is
that.
fantastic.
Oh, it's so
And-
good.
I'm a
and-
big Nick
and
Cage fan. Big one. Sorry.
Nick Cage and Bruce Willis, I know as a producer that they'll go out and they will spend 48 hours in your town making a movie with you for $1 million. That's already pre-sold to the Chinese, and they do it all year, and they make their living that way.
Whoa.
So they're in a lot of crap. But I love that Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage, when they want to, can turn on their chops. It was a minimalist acting job. It was unpredictable, and it was emotional, and I was blown away by Pig, and I hope he wins some awards.
Oh,
Is this new movie? I don't
Oh, it's
never heard
out
of
this year, yeah. It's nominated for.
well,
I
it
think
came out
he's-
last year.
Oh yeah, but it's 21. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Oh yeah, Pig.
Pig.
Pig is
Write it
so
down.
good.
Yeah.
He's really good in it. I remember I
So you
saw it.
watched it, good.
Yeah, I remember I went and watched it, and I told my dad, it's like, oh, Nick Cage is so good. And I said something along the lines of, he's such a good actor. And my dad was like, he always acts the same in every single movie. And I was like,
Not this one.
I don't know if
Not
I'd
this
say
one.
that.
Nick Cage, what? 8mm?
Yeah, no. I was just like,
Well, one of my favorites, as I'm saying.
I think he was like saying Nick Cage is a bad actor, and
Oh.
he used examples like Ghost Rider or things like that. And I
Oh,
go
come
like,
on.
I
Ghost
don't
Rider.
know, that's fair, but
He was cool in Next when you're talking about superhero films. But yeah, you can't bring up Nick Cage in front of my wife. She's not like a film buff like me, but like she hates Nick Cage, and I'm like, I love Nick Cage.
I'm so looking.
I just love that he was addicted to Rolls Royces.
And comic books for me,
Yeah,
like he
no,
buys
but
old
he-
comic books.
But he was addicted to Rolls Royces and had like 50.
Oh,
Rolls
jeez.
Royces.
What can you
what
do
an
with all that
addiction.
money? I
It's
don't
like the guitarist from Pink Floyd has an airplane collection.
know. Oh my
So
god.
that's when you know
Yeah.
your Dark Side of the Moon was on the charts for 40 years. That's how you know what kind of money you have when you.
What else are you
on
gonna
the
do?
charts for
You can
40
buy a
years.
moon.
I am
Collect
don't know.
airplanes.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to his upcoming film, The Unbearable Weight of Incredible Talent.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's gonna be like channeling all of his
The-
performances.
I put that.
That's crazy.
I put that trailer on my Facebook and Twitter. I can't wait to see that too because he's sending himself up.
Did you see the swear words kind of like little TV show that he did about the swear words? That was
the-
funny. It made me laugh.
the history of
the
like
swear
all
words.
swear words or something.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's just a quick little half-hour thing on each swear word. It's kind of fun. What else are you watching, Raj? Are you reading anything, Sean? Like reading any books or anything? or?
You know what? I'm reading a book on the history of fair use law. It's,
Oh, okay.
It's for filmmakers.
That's important.
That's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
But if I can do a plug,
Yeah, sure,
we only
absolutely.
have 2 months left. If
Plug it
anybody
away.
if anybody listens to this before mid-March 2022, please watch White Boy on Netflix. It was last year. It hit number 4 in the world, and that's something that we made here at Transition. We have a film called A Murder in the Park that you can see on IFC's streaming network, and you can also rent it on iTunes if you'd like. And then we've got some stuff coming up, so stay tuned and check out our releases on transitionstudios.com. And this fall, Thanksgiving 2022, check out WatchTrueBlue, TRUBLU.com. It's a new streaming network. Try it for free for a few days and see if you like it.
Right. Is it okay? And I can edit this out. If anybody wants to contact you with any questions or anything, or is it okay to put like your transition email on
Yeah, it's
on
public.
on the
Sean.
on the
SHAW
description?
Sean, SHAWN at transitionstudios.com. That's fine.
Okay, excellent.
And
That-
some people are going to call me, write me and tell me I'm an idiot for things I said, but
No.
I'm very used to that.
No. I mean, I just if anyone wants to, and we have an email too, so they can just contact us. But
Okay.
I just want to put it out there, and if it's all good.
No, that's fine.
Are you good, Raj? You got
As for things that I've been watching, I started watching the latest season of Ozark, and I've been enjoying it. I went on a binge of a bunch of movies. I watched basically all the Mission Impossible movies while not really paying attention to 2 because it's bad. I saw the Raid movies, and I saw Christopher Nolan's The Prestige.
Oh, very good one.
Yeah,
Awesome movie.
That's and if just in case anyone has not heard of The Raid,
Mhm.
really, really, really good martial arts films.
Okay.
It's like if you're in the mood to watch some like really well choreographed action, check those ones out. They're great. And the Mission Impossible movies are you're there to watch Tom Cruise do all these weird stunts.
Okay.
All these, oh my God, he's hanging out the side of the Burj Khalifa. Why are you doing this?
Okay. All right. So, in preparation of Ryan's film, I've been watching Cheer, just to kind of get an idea of what he's got going on. Ryan Kelly, he was on the show a couple weeks ago, and his unsanctioned. I can mention that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the works. Yeah.
Okay, and then I finished listening to Mel Brooks' All About Me, so I'm all done with that book, and like learning about Mel Brooks's history through his filmmaking career, which was amazing. He brought up Spaceballs and producers, and so I've been watching kind of like all his films.
History
Blazing
of the
Saddles,
World Part
History of the
One.
History of the
Ooh.
World part. Yeah.
I was in the theater when I was not sure.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, Mel Brooks is one of my major influences. And then so I'm listening to a book right now about conquistadors, because I just don't know too much about Spain, in their history and how they conquered like half the world and half the world speaks Spanish. And I just like, it just kind of like, just hit me like, how come, I know all this stuff about Rome and Britain and England, but like half the side of the world speaks Spanish. Like, well, how did that happen? So I'm kind of like deep diving into Spain's history, and kind of our kind of family comes from that part of the world, which is Corsica, which is French, but like we're Spanish speaking. So like what just kind of learning
It was
about
a Spanish expedition that stumbled upon this native land. right?
exactly. Like I mean, I just think there's so much to learn, and also like how did they like stay neutral through World War II? Like how come they didn't get wrapped up? I mean, they had that Civil War. Anyways, I'm just like really interested in Spain for some reason right now, and I just want to learn more. And that's about it for me. Like I've been, that's what I've been doing. So, Raj, what do we got coming up next week?
For next week, the hint is the movie we're going to be watching is the greatest Lovecraftian movie not based off anything written by H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay. Sounds all right. Someone can figure it out, email us and let us know. But I want to take the time to thank Shawn Rech.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, great to have you.
hopefully, you had a good time, and hopefully you can do this again in the future, sometime in the way future. But whenever you want, we're here. And
Well, if you get 7 downloads, you'll know not to invite me back.
it's not about that. It's about, hey, man, let's just have some fun together. And we do a lot of cool stuff here, and I just want to say thank you, and hope you come back.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Cool.
See you, everyone.
All right, we'll see you later,
Have a good night, everybody.
and we're out.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah.
Multipass.
Leela, multipass. She knows it's a multipass. Lilu Dallas, my wife. We're newlyweds.
Keep up the good work and prevent accidents. This shift is concluded.